A lot to get to tonight. We begin, though, with breaking news. It goes far beyond the government just accessing your cell phone records. That was the first shoe to drop. The second shoe fell late today. They're looking at your internet access as well, plugging directly into Facebook, Google, YouTube, Yahoo, and 5 other big names. In short, a direct line into your online life. The FBI and National Security Agency are doing it. According to a report in the Washington Post and Britain's Guardian newspaper, they've been doing it for the last 6 years, part of a highly classified, never-before-disclosed intelligence-gathering program codenamed PRISM. According to the reporting, it began during the Bush administration but has grown sharply, exponentially, during the Obama years. The FBI and NSA vacuuming up your emails, online pictures, audio, video by tapping directly into the servers of those 5 companies that I mentioned, plus Microsoft, Paltalk, AOL, Skype, Apple, and soon, according to the Post, Dropbox. The Post and Guardian reporting that PRISM used the data feed as raw material for a massive data mining operation aimed at spotting patterns that might provide early warning of a terrorist attack. And as we said, it comes hard on the heels of the revelation in the Guardian newspaper and elsewhere that must be giving any one of the tens of millions of Americans who use a Verizon cell phone a chill. Word that the FBI and NSA asked for and got a secret court order giving them access to phone records for all Verizon cell phone calls, foreign, domestic, and local. Not the conversations themselves, just everything else that's identifiable. White House officials neither confirming nor denying the story, but they are defending the practice of data collection for national security purposes. And again, both these programs have their roots in the prior administrations, but have grown immensely since then, leading the Huffington Post today to run a composite photo under the headline, George W. Obama. It's also turning partisan politics on its head, with a number of Democrats slamming the president and Republicans defending his policy. A lot to talk about with Jim Acosta at the White House and former Congressman and Libertarian Ron Paul. Jim, this has been a remarkable day. First of all, what's the latest you're hearing in Washington from this?
Well, Anderson, I can tell you right now that White House officials are simply not commenting, and congressional officials who have oversight over these matters, they're not commenting about these latest revelations broken this afternoon in the Washington Post and Guardian newspapers. But we can tell you, Anderson, you've been talking just over the last couple of minutes about these, revelations that have come out in these stories that the government has been using the servers at about 9 internet companies, technology companies out in the Silicon Valley to look at what people have been doing online. But I have to tell you, Anderson, in the last hour or so, we've gotten a number of statements from some of those companies in question. You mentioned Google, you mentioned Apple. Well, we have a statement from Apple saying that they've never heard of this program called PRISM. They say they do not provide any government agency with direct access to their servers. Google put out a statement saying that from time to time they do disclose data to the government in accordance with the law, they say, but they do not have a backdoor, as they call it, into their servers for the government to use. So there is some pushback. There seems to be, a contradiction here, perhaps, if you listen to what these companies are saying at this point. But as you said, Anderson, a very remarkable day up on Capitol Hill. Members of Congress from both sides of the aisle questioning the Obama administration, trying to get at exactly what is going on with the Patriot Act and the authority that's been given apparently to the FBI and the NSA to look at phone records from millions of Americans who subscribe to Verizon Communications. But at this point, just no answers from the White House at this point. They're not commenting directly on those stories, only saying that this type of data collection is consistent with the law and that it does protect national security.
And if it's Verizon, it's probably, one can assume it's probably others as well. Congressman Paul, who's joining us on the phone, what is your reaction to this news? It's not just phone records, but apparently, according to the Washington Post, also internet data that the government is monitoring.
Well, I guess I wished I could be shocked, but I'm not surprised. I think there's been a few of us who have been warning about this, voted against the Patriot Act, voted against these FISA accords, so it doesn't surprise me a bit. And because it's not confirmed by these companies, just means that they are intimidated. They can get into a lot of trouble. I mean, they can turn over these records and they're not allowed to even talk about it. So it's a horrible, horrible situation. But the one thing it's doing, these events are really helping me make my case that I've been working on for a couple of years. You've got to watch the power of government. Power in government is almost always abused, and this is abused, and it isn't the Democrats and it isn't the Republicans. It's both of them. And then it's the toleration of the people. The people put up with it. So it's very, very dangerous. I don't think there's anything left to our Fourth Amendment. This whole idea of needing probable cause to get a search warrant, that's totally gone. And this to me is very, very serious, but also it's an awakening call. Let's hope that we can get the progressives together with the libertarians and the constitutionalists and say enough is we've had enough of this, and we have to stop. Our economy doesn't work, the foreign policy is in shambles, and now we have no privacy because people say they want to be safe. Governments cannot make us safe. To pretend they can make us safe, they have to destroy personal liberty. Or they can make an attempt. They can make us safe if they turn us into cattle in a cage or something, you know. But this is,
Congressman,
this is devastating. So I'm not
let me ask you
surprised at what's happening.
Congressman Mike Rogers, who's obviously head of the House Homeland Security Committee, he said today that going through those phone records prevented a terrorist attack. Do you buy that? And how do you argue against this kind of surveillance if it is, in fact, preventing attacks?
Well, first thing is I don't believe it. I've heard so many of those stories that there have been dozens and dozens of terrorist attacks over the years. The FBI is involved, and they save us from all this. But no, this is not justification to turn over your liberties, turn over everything that is precious, and say the government can have total control of me because they might stop something sometime. No, that would never be a justification. We've been warned about that. There's a lot of people that would agree with them. I got to be safe. You know, safety is the only thing that I care about. Both economically and physical safety is the driving force, and it's also the destruction of liberty, and that is what we're witnessing today.
Jim, the political reaction to this is interesting. I mean, a lot of people in the president's own party are not thrilled by the national security policies. I mean, where do you see this going? What is the next step here?
Well, Anderson, it's interesting. You know, Lindsey Graham, he came out very forcefully in favor of this program at a hearing earlier today and was basically saying, keep going. President Obama, keep going, Obama administration. I like this program, and there are many of us like that. But he was commenting, Anderson, about phone records, the collection of phone records. And now what we have is sort of an apparent bundling of government surveillance data, not just your phone, but also perhaps your internet. And I think that is why you're going to maybe see the dam breaking when it comes to some of the frustrations up on Capitol Hill. We heard from Barbara Mikulski, a liberal Democrat from Maryland, who is the chair of the Appropriations Committee, telling Eric Holder at a hearing, hey, wait a minute, we're a little sick and tired of this idea that only the people on the intelligence committees are briefed on this. Perhaps other members of Congress should be briefed on this because, Anderson, they're being blindsided by all of this right now. Not only do they have people calling them saying, hey, wait a minute, my phone records are being collected by the government. Tomorrow they're going to be hearing from Americans all over the country who are worried about when they're online, what videos they're looking at, what websites they're looking at. Is that being collected as well?
Yeah, Jim Acosta, appreciate it. Congressman Ron Paul, appreciate you calling in as well. I think I said Rogers on the House Intelligence Committee. I think I misspoke there before. Again.